Okay, my name's Georgene Harkness, and this is the book that I wrote about Amazon FBA. I'm a certified public accountant since 2001, but I no longer work in the area of CPA or accounting. I'm a blogger. One of our main blogs is Amazopia.com, which is about the world of Amazon, not just about selling and buying in Amazon, but just in general everything they do. I also have Choice Travel Texas and Baby Boomer Talk blog for appropriate topics, to that area. We have some more, but not any that we really maintain all that well. Howard's got some. I'm sure he's already told you about those. As I mentioned, I am a seller on Amazon FBA, and that's been since November only. There are people who laugh at those who have only been sellers on Amazon for less than 2 years that try to even tell anybody else about it at all. But I figure I can at least share the experiences I've had. And I have been an eBay seller in the past, but basically I sold clothes, so that meant that every item was unique. I spent all my time measuring, listing, picturing, and one day I woke up and said, I can't do this anymore. And I'm an author and publisher. I wrote 5 ebooks and plus one that's incognito, 2 of them which are my favorite subject, which is cruising, and also one on FBA, one on gastric bypass surgery, and one on blogging. And I also am a publisher for a friend who wrote a book about mortgage ripoffs. And you can see my full profile at georgeneharkness.com. Okay, so what do we mean when we say Amazon FBA? Well, FBA means, why is this thing not working? It means fulfillment by Amazon. So if you're a buyer, you may recognize it as a Prime membership, or you may also, if you're not a Prime member, you may notice where it says this item is eligible for free Super Saver shipping. So for Prime, you get free 2-day shipping, or you can, if you really need it in a hurry, you can get 1-day shipping for $3.99. You can get free ebook rentals from the Kindle Owners Lending Library, and there are other benefits including Amazon Instant Video. Now, if you're a seller, it means a number of other things as well. It means that you list your item on Amazon using their already designed product offers. You package your item up and you ship it to Amazon. They handle the sales, the collection of the money, the shipping, and all the product support. So if anybody has a problem, they call Amazon, they don't call you. And as a seller, you're paid every 2 weeks. So what do you sell? Well, the question here is, what do people like to buy? Amazon is famous and got started with books, CDs, and DVDs, so I'm sure you've heard of that. Home and office supplies, toys and games. That's a really big thing around Christmas, but you need to also remember that kids have birthdays all year round, so toys and games sell all year round. Electronics and electronic supplies, tools. Baby items is a really big thing because you can get baby items that you can't find anywhere else on Amazon. Sporting and outdoor supplies. Pet supplies is another big thing. It's amazing how much money you can get for pet supplies on Amazon. And gourmet foods. If you live on the East Coast but you move from the West Coast and there's something that you used to like to eat, but you can't find it, there's going to be somebody that'll be able to find it and sell it to you. Or almost any hard-to-find item is available on Amazon. In fact, it is their intention to have at least one of every item that exists in their catalog. They're not there yet, but they're working. So there's some things that are categories that you must be approved for before you can actually sell them. And that includes automotive parts. Now, the approval for that is not particularly difficult. This is the hardest one: clothing, accessories, luggage, shoes, handbags, and sunglasses. They want to know that you've had a website that sells these items for a period of time and that the photographs are perfect. That's the big thing. Collectibles, they want to know that you have some idea what is collectible and what isn't. Industrial and scientific, obviously this needs to be somebody that has some clue about what the item is for. Jewelry, that's almost as hard as clothing, but not quite. Motorcycle ATVs, certain personal wellness products, textbook rentals. Now you can sell textbooks without approval, but you can't rent them without approval. Watches and wine. These are the items that require approval. Okay, and then there's some things that you'll never be able to sell because they're just not allowed on Amazon. Alcohol, animals, live animals, obviously, drugs and electronics, anything that's out of date, and they have very strict requirements about when you can send something in, and the out of date expiration date has to be shown on the item. Recalled items and hazmat items. You can have an item up on Amazon that today is working great, and the next thing you know, it's not showing because they've decided it's hazmat. Happens. Gambling and lottery items, surveillance equipment. Now you can have like cameras for around your home, but anything that say like a pen that's really a camera, if it doesn't look like what it is, then they're not going to allow you to sell it on Amazon. Obviously tobacco and tobacco related items, weapons, and any warranties and services. Okay, so where do you get products to sell? The first thing you need to do is go around your house and pick up anything that has a barcode. That would be books or any supplies, anything that you think you might be interested in selling, and go to your Amazon seller page, which is very easy to open an account. You would just start with a regular individual account and start looking up. In fact, you don't even have to open your account to do that. You can just go to Amazon and see what it's selling for. If it's good, if it's something that's interesting, then you'll keep that one set aside to see about perhaps in the future using it. I spent probably a couple of weeks going through everything we own, setting aside the good stuff and not setting aside the stuff that wasn't. And then the next thing I did was retail arbitrage, which is I took the ideas from what I found at home and went to the store to find these items and see how well they're selling. I use some outside tools, which we'll talk about in a minute, that give me a better idea than just looking it up on Amazon. The next step, once you've figured out what you want to sell and how it's going to do, you can go online, and the same stores that have clearance items in their store often have online clearance items that are not available in the store. So you can buy them from the store website, and you can have them shipped to you. You can put the labels on them and send them off to Amazon, and it saves a lot of effort. You can't really have them ship it directly to Amazon because they want your label on it. So once you get big enough that you can have wholesale accounts, under some circumstances you can have the wholesaler label it for you, and then they'll send it on to Amazon. So these are the major ways to find products to sell. Now, in order to do retail arbitrage, which, like I said, once you finish looking up stuff around your house, that's the next thing you want to do. You need a cell phone that's a smartphone, so that it'll have access to the internet, and an app that will connect to Amazon. There's a couple of free apps that Amazon provides. The first one is Amazon Flow. So you can find products through Amazon Flow. You can search, you can type in the item number, or you can scan the barcode, or in some instances you can snap a picture and Amazon will go through all its pictures and see if it can find something that looks very much like it. That one works, but it works best with books, movies, and DVDs. It doesn't really work well for toys and stuff like that, at least not in my experience. So, but this does work. Sometimes when I can't get one of my other tools to work, I'll look it up in Flow and I can find out what I need to know. This is what we call showrooming in reverse, because how many of you have heard the term showrooming? No? Well, retail stores don't like it because people will come into the retail store and they'll start looking up items, that are for sale on Amazon, and if they can find stuff that's cheaper on Amazon than in the retail store, then they go home and they buy it on Amazon. Or they may even buy it on Amazon from their smartphone, which you can easily do. So that's showrooming. And that's what we're doing. Except that we buy it at the store and we send it to Amazon so that we can make money off of it. So they should really be tickled about that. But I keep a low profile, and most of the time they don't even really know what I'm doing. This is another app that is, you probably recognize this if you have a smartphone. You just do a scan and it pulls up the basic information for you. And all of these things are free. Now, these are paid apps. ScanPower app is the one that I use, and it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $60 a month, but you can get a discount if you use it for, if you buy for a whole year. WebScout is the computer-based version of what you see when you use ScanPower in the store and on your phone. This Bluetooth scanner, ScanFob, is a Bluetooth barcode scanner that you use, and it transmits the information to your phone. I started off with one of those things, and it cost $300 approximately. What I found out was that my phone works just as well without it. And it's fast. Now, some people say it's not as fast as a Bluetooth scanner, but for me, it's fast, and it's actually more reliable, because for some reason my phone kept dropping the Bluetooth connection. So I've got it sitting aside somewhere. Profit Bandit is also another one that is used with a PDA, and what you do with it is, it's also a paid app. You download the entire database of books and CDs and DVDs from Amazon, and that takes a couple of hours. And then you go to the bookstore, because they only do books, and it's really, really, really fast, but it's got the information from a couple of hours ago when you downloaded it. So books change a lot. You could be missing out on good information. The information on ScanPower is at the moment information, always updated. A seller tool is another one, and there's a whole bunch more. You can just do a search on Amazon seller tools, and you'll find a lot. Now, this is what the screen looks like, and I'm afraid it's a little hard to see, but it does have a black background, and there wasn't really a whole lot I could do about that. But it gives you the information that you need. This is the screen that you see on ScanPower or the web app, WebScout, which is on your computer. It gives you obviously the title of the item, and it's important to know whether or not Amazon sells it, because it makes a difference. What the rank is, and that's kind of important too. We'll talk about that in a minute. This list right here is the people who sell on Amazon, the other FBA sellers, and they'll put the lowest price at the top so you can see what your competition is. This is your net payout. This figures up Amazon fees. So if you sell this item for $67.99 is what it's showing, then what you get in your bank account is $46.92. Now from that, in order to figure your profit, you have to figure out how much did you pay for this item. This item, it just happens to be for approximately $15 at Big Lots. So that's not a bad profit. This is one of my listings. Oh, and it also, this right here, these are other sellers. These are people who are not FBA. And their prices are almost always lower because we have an advantage. The FBA advantage is that we know, if I'm a seller, I know that Amazon has got the product and they're going to ship it and it's going to get to me in 2 days. If I'm buying from a seller that's not FBA, they'll ship it when they get good and ready. So we can usually charge more if we're FBA. So what do you do with these tools? What is the actual procedure? Well, the first thing is you pick out your store. There are discount stores in the area that are almost always a good source of products. Big Lots is one, Tuesday Morning is one, Ross is one, there's TJ Maxx, there's Marshalls, all sorts of discount stores. You find a product that sounds interesting, scan the barcode with your smartphone and see what it says about how much you can sell it for on Amazon. And depending on what app you use, this right here says it sells for $7.04. I don't know if you can see it or not. It tells you what it is and how much you can sell it for. Obviously, you don't want to buy it right now because you're not in the buying mode. You're just in checking to see how it's doing. Whoops, I went the wrong way. So you compare this price here that is selling on Amazon to the price in the store. Decide whether or not it's a winner or whether you need to move on. And rinse and repeat. So how do you know whether or not you have a winner? Well, it takes a while to figure all this out, and you're going to make some mistakes at the very beginning, but that's how you learn, is by making mistakes. It helps if you have an idea ahead of time what your expenses are going to be. One of the things that you have to do, obviously, is you have to pay for your product. And you also have to pay Amazon, because every time you sell something, they're going to take some fees. But those are not the things we're really concerned about. This is what we're concerned about. We want to pay ourselves. So these are the 3 things that we have to consider. How much are your Amazon fees? Well, if your item sells for $10 or less on Amazon, very likely you're going to lose money. Now, there are a lot of people who sell items for less than $10 on Amazon, and I'm not really sure. I don't know if they think they're going to make it up in volume, because if you're losing $1 every time you sell something, making it up on volume is not going to happen. So if your item on Amazon costs more than 10, less than 40, then your fees are going to be somewhere close to the equal amount of what it sells for. And that's a very, very rough estimate. The lower you sell it for, the higher the percentage of that price your fees are going to be. And if you sell an item for more than $40 on Amazon, your fees are going to be lower than the price of the product, but you're not going to be able to charge as many times for it of your selling price as you would some of the lower priced items. So here's a list of the fees, a partial list of the fees. And you don't really see this all listed out on your report, although all of this is available and they will send it to you. In fact, you can download it yourself if you have a pro seller account. But you start with the item, the price of the item you sold. They have a referral fee, which is a percentage of the amount that you sold it for. Order handling fee, pick and pack fees, those are flat fees. I think they're $1 a piece. Okay, the weight handling, if your item is really heavy, it's going to cost more. You have to pay a storage fee every month, but they're very, very low, 20, 30 cents an item. It's very, very low. Now, if you're not a pro seller, every time you sell an item, you have to pay 99 cents. Well, I sold over 300 things, just individual items last month. So if I wasn't a pro seller, my pro seller fee was $39.95, always. I would have had to pay $300. So it's always a good idea. Plus, you get better reports, much better customer service, although they're good with everybody, but the pro seller is the way to go. And then they have a lot of optional services, like if you don't want to label your items, or if you don't bag them correctly, or if you don't want to do this, or you don't want to do that, they have an answer for you, and it's going to cost you some money, but it's usually pretty reasonable. So it depends on your particular business model. And every 2 weeks you get a deposit to your bank account. So how do you know what to buy? There's 3 factors that are really important. Obviously, what is it going to cost in the store compared to what it costs on Amazon? What about your competitors? Now, a lot of times you'll go to the store and there won't be very many competitors. There won't be any FBA sellers. There'll be, just a few. But keep in mind that if this is an item that has been advertised as being for sale, somebody else is going to find it too. Eventually, there's going to be competitors. Also, if Amazon is selling it, they pretty much set the price. So look and see if they're selling it. What are they selling it for? Because you're not going to be able to go above that. And then the bestseller rank, which is just one of those things that'll blow your mind, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So the price, 3 times what I look for is if I see it's listed in Amazon for 3 times what it is in front of me there in the store, then I will definitely consider it, as long as I know that I can sell it for at least $15 or more. So if it's an item that sells for $1 in the store, and I can sell it for $5, which is 5x, that's still not a good deal. You need to look at a selling price for at least $15, if not more. Sellers, not sold by Amazon if at all possible, and not too many FBA sellers because they get really competitive. But remember that even if Amazon isn't selling it, they can jump in at any time. And they can buy, if they don't like what you're selling an item for, they may even go looking for it. And they may buy a whole truckload of them. So, they're going to set the price if they, But you can still make a lot of money in Amazon. So the rank, you need to have it as close to 1 as possible, but you have to understand what rank signifies. Rank is an indicator of how recently that item has sold. So if I go into Amazon and I look at something that says the rank is like 2,000, then that means it's sold very recently. If it says it's 9 million, which books go up in the 10, 12, 14 million, then you know it has not sold for a long time. But the thing of it is, that's only the snapshot of right now, and the rank changes every hour. So what you really want to do if you look at rank is to know that it stays low for a long period of time. I have one item that sells at a rank of less than 1,000, and it has for the past year. It's a popular item. Of course, that also draws a lot of competitors. But I know that this rank is going to stay, at least, and if it changes, it's not going to change very, very fast. But if you just look at something that's got, you can't just tell a rank. You look at it and say it's 1,000. It only means somebody bought it right now or recently. For product preparation, you need a little bit of equipment, but not a whole lot. Labels and label printer. And there's a lot of choices in that. It's easy to figure out which one is the best one when you look through Amazon seller support. They'll tell you. Scotty peelers. That's what these things are right here. Nobody would realize that a piece of plastic would be so helpful. But because I used before, I thought, I'm not going to spend my money on that. I've got a knife. No, Scotty peelers are wonderful. Solvent to help remove the labels. So there's a couple of solvents that you can buy: Bestine, Undo, Goo Gone, even lighter fluid will work. But you need something to help. A hair dryer, because there's some labels that you just can't get rid of with the solvent. Plastic bags, and if they don't already have suffocation warnings on them, then you have to put them on there. So I just have big sheets of labels printed up. I just stick them on there. If you don't put the suffocation warnings on them, they'll put them on there and they're going to charge you. An impact sealer will actually seal the plastic. It costs about $50 and it saves a lot of time and trouble. Lots of tape and scissors. Of course, you need boxes, and for me, if I see a box in the store that they'll let me have, I'll take it, but I'm not going to spend my time running through the store trying to find boxes when I can just go to the store, get a 20% discount, and get my boxes, and I know that they're going to hold up. More tape, because you just can't get enough tape. More boxes, and many, many more extra pairs of scissors, and hide them from your spouse. Because if you don't, they will accuse you of being the one doing the hiding. So, what is the workflow once you've got your product, you brought it home, and you're ready to go? First of all, you want to record the price that you paid for it and what store you got it from. That way you can always go back and figure it out. Remove the original labels, because nobody is going to be madder than that purchaser when he discovers that they paid $60 for something that you paid $10 for. And they will send it back, and they'll leave really bad, they'll leave bad feedback. So then you add your product in Amazon's database. Most products are already there. You just hook into it. It's very simple, doesn't take very long. Occasionally, if they don't have the item, you'll have to add it yourself. You print your labels and stick them on there, and make sure that you cover the original barcodes. Use plastic bags when needed, and the Amazon help pages will tell you exactly when they're needed, because they are needed in a lot of occasions. Be sure you add your labeling and your warning to plastic bags. If you have your labeling inside the bag, it may not be all that easy for them to scan, so you may want to stick another label on the outside. So seal and trim your bags. They have rules about you can't have your bag a whole lot bigger than your item. It has to be trimmed carefully. Create your shipment, and that's where it really gets hairy, because Amazon will say, okay, I want you to send 3 of these over here, and 2 of these over here, and 6 of them over here, and and before you know it, you've got 10 boxes going, and the more boxes you have, of course, the more expensive the shipping is. There's some ways to get around it, but they don't encourage it, but there are some ways that are legitimate that you can get around it to a degree. Add your products to the boxes. Purchase your postage and print the labels, and you have the option of buying your postage through Amazon at UPS, and that is definitely the way to go. I never knew how expensive postage was until I had to send something from home not using Amazon, and it's definitely cheaper that way. Deliver your boxes to the shipper, or if you have enough boxes, you can pay them like $10 and they'll come pick them up. Track your shipments, which is all very easy to do in your seller account on Amazon. Track your sales. Now, adjust your pricing, because if you notice something's not selling, you may have to adjust your pricing up or down, depending on, usually down, depending on what the situation is. But you go in, you adjust your pricing, with 15 minutes it'll change. So it's very easy to do. And then plan for your new sales. What worked, what didn't work? What do you not want to buy anymore? What are you going to buy some more of? So what about the bad stuff? Well, I think we all know that there's income tax. And obviously, we want to make money, so if we're making money, we're going to have to pay income tax. A lot of that is dependent too on what type, and sales tax. Sales tax is like the worst thing in the world, and this is what I look like when I think about it every time. And the reason it's so bad is because it hasn't been figured out yet. They're still arguing over it. You know, that's why we lost our warehouses in Texas, was because they were arguing over sales tax. Now we've got, you know, some warehouses coming back, but it's still, they're going through this same fight in every state. There's a few of them have been settled, but there's 50, so and there's only a few that don't charge sales tax at all. So it's going to be a while, and it's messy. So what else could go wrong? How much time do I have? How many days? These are things that are eventually going to happen to you if you sell on Amazon. Okay, if you go to the store, this happened to me my very first week. Saw an item in Big Lots, it was selling for $10. On Amazon, it was listed for $90. I'm like, I'm going to be rich. Uh-oh, what did I do? Okay. I was absolutely certain, for sure, that if I bought a whole bunch of these, you know, I was going to be rich in no time. Well, it turned out, fortunately, I only bought like 3 of them, and those 3 are still sitting there. And I have reduced the price considerably, and that was in November of last year. So what happened was one person bought one of these. They put it up on Amazon at a ridiculous price, and I fell for it. And as far as I know, he hadn't sold his either. But you can do this. You get all excited. You see, you know, and discover that it's not that way. Just because you see a price up there, when it says that this item is listed on Amazon, that is not the same thing as saying this item sells on Amazon for such and such amount. And once you find a good deal, somebody else is going to find it too, and they're going to underprice. You just hope that you don't have a race to the bottom. You know, one way to keep that from happening is to refuse to engage in it. If they want to reduce the price, let them reduce it. Let them sell their products, and then eventually, with luck, it'll come back. I've had that happen several times. Sometimes UPS will tear up your products. You'll get reimbursed for that, and Amazon is really very fair about that. Your customer can damage your products. I have a product in my disposal bin right now that was clearly used as a dog toy. The customer decided we don't want it, and they gave it to their dog to tear up, and then they sent it back to Amazon. Amazon asks no questions to the customers. If they want their money back, they can have their money back, and I'm the one that's going to lose on that deal. I did specifically ask Amazon, would you please reimburse me for this, and they said no. So I had them send it back to me because I really wanted to see for sure if it really was damaged, and it really was. So that doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen on occasion. Now, Amazon can lose your product. It sounds odd that they would do that because they've got such strict tracking. But when you consider how many warehouses they've got, and they move them amongst the warehouses, if they think they're going to need your product in this warehouse over here instead of the one it's at, they're going to move it. And in all of this, things get lost. I have a friend who had an item that's one of these stupid little ride-on cars. I say stupid because mine didn't sell, and it's in my garage right now. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to get rid of it, but they lost hers. So she got double what she paid for it back. I have mine sitting in my garage because they didn't lose mine. I wish they would have. They can damage your product in the warehouse. They'll give you the money back for that too. Too many competitors in your niche after you send out your products. Well, you know, you can hope the price will come back. That's the big deal right there, hoping the price will come back. And at Christmas, I've got items that I really don't care if they sell, because I know at Christmas they're going to move. Things go nuts at Christmas. Product recalls and hazmats, and sometimes Amazon won't even tell you. You'll just notice that your item isn't for sale anymore. The problem with that is that if you've got 5,000 items for sale, you can't keep checking every one of them to make sure. So you have to kind of just hope that eventually Amazon's going to come back to you and say, well, we took it off for a little while, and we decided it's either is or isn't hazmat, and you can either can or cannot sell it. A lot of times, if it becomes a hazmat item, they will say, okay, you can finish selling the ones you've got, but don't sell any more. We're not going to let you. So they really are fair, but sometimes your items will go missing and you don't know why. Expiration dates and restrictions on meltable foods. No chocolate, after May the 1st or before October the 1st. And if you don't get it out of the warehouse before May the 1st, then
Okay.
I can go? Okay.
Summer soup in Texas.
Yes, chocolate soup. So sometimes Amazon, we talked about this before, they'll set the price and they'll set it where they want it. You can have something up there for $90, and if they think it really needs to sell for $14.99, that's what they'll do. That's because they want the customer to want to buy at Amazon. And if they think it's a product that you can ask me a question in just a minute, okay? So this is the end. I just want to tell you that it's a fluid marketplace. I just can't tell you, it changes every day. You just never know what's going to happen. But if you run your business like a business, you'll end up making money. It's a good deal.